afternoon. You're watching Business World Live. I'm Jess De Los Santos. Let's take a look at how the local bourse closed today, Thursday. All right, the index snapping out of its four-day rally as it ended lower in today's trade. Shares dropped close to 0.9%, now at 6,882.49, with offshore investors dumping local stocks yet again for the 12th straight day. Net sales at 627.6 million pesos. Investors reverting to sell-off mode despite news of more than 487,000 doses of AstraZeneca arriving later tonight at 7:30 p.m. at the Villamor Air Base. The shots already departed from Belgium earlier today. It will have a stopover in Bangkok before arriving in Manila. They were developed in South Korea and were donated by several European countries. Upon arrival, it will be towed to Villamor Air Base's Kalayaan Hall. That's for a ceremony with President Duterte before being transported to Metro Pac in Marikina. NITAG is still in the process of completing the prioritization list for the AstraZeneca vaccines. Of course, the jabs coming from the Swedish drug maker have been front and center in the news recently after the Octa Research Group cited a study saying that it's only 10% effective against the South African variant, which was recently detected in the country, majority of which are in Pasay City. But health experts, including the health department, saying that it's still worth taking, that it's still better than no protection at all. One News will continue to keep tabs on the arrival of the shots of AstraZeneca later today. But for now, we return to the local bourse, which is in need of some boost here after that 0.9% dip. Looking at our leaders and laggards here, Robinson's Retail leading the pack. It is up 2.4%. Bloomberry likewise also in the green, edging higher by 2.3%. Jollibee also one of our gainers here. The stock has climbed rather by 2.1%. However, on the losing end here, Ayala, a number of Ayala stocks here, starting off with Ayala Land, our worst performer, is down by 3.3%. Ayala Corporation also in the red, edging lower by 2.25%. Also, we're taking note of here is ICTSI, which ended the day in the red. This, of course, we're going to report to you more on their financial performance for 2020. But before that, let's go to one other stock that actually bucked the weak profits seen across most firms in the PSE. I am talking about PLDT, the telco giant, posting an 8% increase in profit here for full year 2020. That's at 24.3 billion pesos. Revenue likewise also increasing by 7% to 181 billion pesos. Also, what's worth taking note of here is their consolidated service revenue, which increased by 9% to a record high of 171.5 billion pesos. Core net income also surging by 4% to 28.1 billion pesos compared to figures from a year ago. EBITDA also setting new records here, growing 7%. That's on the back of higher service revenues and margin at 51%. The telco says that sustained demand for data and broadband led to total service revenues across its three major revenue streams, from consumer wireless, enterprise, and home broadband, to an all-time high. They're expecting capex to increase this year to 88 to 92 billion pesos versus 71.9 billion pesos previously. It also sees core income this year parking between 29 to 30 billion pesos. Chairman and CEO Manny Pangilinan says 2021 may pose some challenges here, especially when it comes to weak economic outlook, pandemic uncertainty, and delayed vaccine rollout. But PLDT is still anticipating high growth this year despite the climb in the telco's earnings. Investors still not so bullish on the stock here. It ended the day flat, but on the downside, as you can see, it actually started the day posting some gains here, but ended the day in the red. It's again on the downside here, down close to 0.1% to 1,290 a share. And lastly, like what I mentioned earlier, we go to port operator ICTSI, which also posted modest gains here in their 2020 numbers. Net income came in at $101.8 million. That is an increase of 1%. Revenue also climbing by 1.7% to $1.5 billion. EBITDA, however, as you can see, are also climbing 6% to 876.8 million pesos. The port operator is saying, that their volumes have rebounded from lows when lockdowns were imposed, and when lockdowns actually started easing in the second half of 2020. That actually led to some improved margins here for the operators, and gains have continued into 2021, at least according to Chairman and President Enrique Razon. Their handled volume for the year also increased by 0.2% to 10.19 million TEUs. That's due primarily to contributions from their operations in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Trade likewise also improved in the second half. They're setting their 2021 capex of $250 million. That's mainly going to be used for the expansion of their terminals. However, as you can see here as well, ICTSI also ending the day in the red here. It's down by as much as 1.7% to 118.80 pesos. Now, here are other headlines we're keeping our eyes on. Global debt watcher Moody's considers the Philippines as among key Southeast Asian countries that will likely reap benefits from a growing demand for electronics amid global recovery. Moody's noted that Southeast Asia has gained attention as a global manufacturing hub, but it won't replace China as the world's factory just yet. Still, the credit rater sees ASEAN economies as better positioned than any other global region to benefit from rising labor costs in China and global manufacturers' push to hedge trade and reduce geopolitical risks. However, Moody's Analytics said the likes of Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Thailand would still rely heavily on raw material imports and advanced components for electronics production. The Semiconductor and Electronics Industries in the Philippines Incorporated, or SAPI, agrees the sector would benefit from the demand surge. Now, Maynilad is targeting to finish the construction of 3 new sewage treatment plants within the year. These are plants located in Barangays Kupang and Tunasan in Muntinlupa and Barangay Marulas in Valenzuela City. The West Zone water concessionaire said the 3 treatment plants are capable of treating 126,000 cubic meters of wastewater daily. This would service around 700,000 residents in both cities. Maynilad invested more than 7 billion pesos for 3 sewage treatment facilities, pushing their total wastewater treatment plants to 22 in total. February inflation figures set to be released tomorrow, with a poll projecting it to reach a 26-month high of 4.8%, still due to elevated food prices. This is price of household staples like pork continue to increase. To talk about the latest developments on pork supply, we have Department of Agriculture Assistant Secretary Noel Reyes. Good afternoon, Nasir Reyes.
Good afternoon, Jess, and to all our viewers. Good afternoon.
All right, sir. First, give us an update here. On average, how many hogs are being supplied into the metro from recent days here?
Okay, thank you, Jess. To date, we have delivered from surplus provinces in Visayas, Mindanao, and Luzon 115,479 hogs since February 8, and a total of 721,000 kilos of carcass also from the February 8 to March 3, yesterday. And the daily average delivery is about 4,800 daily and about 30,000 kilos per day. So most of these came from Region 6, Region 4A, Mimaropa, Region 5, Region 12, and the carcasses came from Region 3. And pork prices range from the whole carcass, or sabit ulo, they call it, range from 330 to 310 per piece, per hog. And kasim is retailed at 270. That's about our lowest bottom line price for ceiling price. up to a high of 360 pesos, and liempo is retailed at 300 to 380. And 1,000 meat stalls out of 1,200 have enough supply of pork within the normal level, as per our survey of the Agribusiness Marketing Assistance Service. So again, that's the latest on the deliveries, Jess.
All right, sir, this has been pretty much the same narrative here, 4,000 on average daily. But I mean, recalling as well previous stories that we've done on pork supply, you still have a number of retailers complaining that, it's still not enough or supplies are actually not reaching them. Have these concerns been addressed?
Yes, yes. In fact, uh, out of the more than 32 markets we've been monitoring, all of them have a supply of pork. And again, I said prices have been ranging to 270 to 360 for Kasim and Liempo for 300. So we have enough supply of pork from the provinces
Okay.
in Visayas and Mindanao. And besides that, supermarkets are selling the imported pork at ceiling prices ranging from 270 to 300.
Have you also looked into reports of hog supply being diverted to nearby provinces instead of directing them to Metro Manila? Has that
Yes,
already been addressed?
yes, Jess, thank you. Yes, initially we received reports that some of the pork destined for Metro Manila were diverted to other areas outside of Luzon because they enjoyed higher prices there. But now we're saying that as we are providing support prices for hog raisers and traders for them to deliver directly to Metro Manila, so we'll be able to pay them directly upon delivery of their hogs within Metro Manila, not outside.
Okay, so that in a way is a measure to ensure that the supply would actually reach Metro Manila. Am I correct, sir?
Correct.
But at the same time, are you still getting similar reports here? Do you still have some complaints here from retailers saying that the supply are still being diverted to nearby areas despite?
No, we're not getting as much report as now, but what we're having is that supply is normalizing,
Okay.
but prices are of course in excess of the 270 and 300. All we have to do is just taper off and temper the prices by giving them enough supply.
Okay. Also, I would like to know as well regarding our sources here when it comes to hog supply, especially with some reports of the African swine fever being detected in Mindanao provinces. How has that affected your the supply here that you are sending to Metro Manila?
Now, there were reports in Cagayan de Oro and Misamis Oriental and parts of Masbate, but those are isolated incidences. So again, we're getting much of our hogs from Bicol, Western Visayas, where there are no ASF, and of course, Southern Mindanao, Zamboanga Peninsula, and Northern Mindanao.
Okay. Also, as
We're saying we're getting hogs, ASF-free hogs.
Mhm. Okay, as a Chris, also, if I'm not mistaken, from last week, you have a number of recommendations here from pork stakeholders saying, why not issue a standard retail price instead and scrap the price cap altogether? Oh, and the DA has said it's going to study this recommendation. What's the development on that, sir?
Yeah, still on the study stage, and we're awaiting the recommendations of the units assigned by Secretary Dar, like agribusiness and service, the regional operation service, our regional, our BAI, our livestock agencies, and the Bantay Presyo. So, Secretary is awaiting their recommendations next week. But
But
meanwhile, we're enforcing the uh, price, the ceiling prices.
mhm. But what's the likelihood, sir, that this recommendation would be followed, that the price cap would actually be scrapped? And when can we expect a decision from the DA?
There are no indications yet, Jess. So again, we just wait for the recommendations of the group, and then, by the way, it's only about less than 30 days, so we're over the hump. So I think we can see it through that
Mhm.
the prices are stable, and of course supply.
Okay, and very quickly now, how long do you see the supply issue extending? When do you see
Uh,
it normalizing completely?
the supply until April 8th, until the 60-day limit is observed or is done. So again, we'll try to see review if instead of the price ceiling, we'll have to go into other modes of to tame the prices, and of course ensure supply of pork to Metro Manila and other major consumption centers.
All right. Until then, we're going to get some more updates from you. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, Department of Agriculture Assistant Secretary Noel Reyes. Thank you, sir.
Likewise, Jess. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
And those are the biggest news this trading day, March 4, 2021. Catch Business World live again tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. for the market open and 3:15 p.m. for the market close. I'm Jess De Los Santos. We are One News.